Okay, so you saw the title of the video, and look, we're all excited about the potential of Tyrie Wilson, right? And we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about training camp notes that we've had the past couple of days. I want to start this off with a couple excerpts from Pete Carroll's press conference where he talked about Malcolm Koonce and Tyrie Wilson.
I said something to Malcolm today. It's taken him a little while to feel that he's back. You know, he came out of here and ready to go, and he missed so much in the offseason that he was disappointed in. But when he finally got a chance to go, it hasn't been that long ago. I mean, it's been 3-4 weeks we've been out here, and I think it took him time to realize that he's okay. Steady progress. The whole camp he's been doing a solid job. We've called on him in a number of ways to keep going and keep pushing. We're really trying to make sure that we put him in the right spots that takes advantage of his skills and his comfort, and so that he can play at his best. So we have moved him around quite a bit, and so that continues. He's a really talented kid, and we just got to get him out there where he can do some good stuff.
A couple pretty interesting things he said there. The first thing he said, obviously, was that Malcolm Koonce, it's going to take a little bit for him to get back to the injury, especially with the lower leg injury, and that does make sense. Now, it's tough for me to completely put all my faith in Pete Carroll when he says, look, he was injured, he takes some time to come back, because we've seen two versions of Malcolm Koonce. We've seen the version of Malcolm Koonce that's really good, like dominant against the Chiefs and the Broncos and the Chargers. And then we've seen the Malcolm Koonce that didn't really make an impact. Now, was that Josh McDaniels not wanting to play him right away? Was that him taking time to evolve as a player? Only time will tell. And injuries like that obviously do take a while to recover from, but they also, could hinder you for the rest of your career. Some people can't get out of the mindset of, oh man, my leg is broken or my ACL is torn and it's going to be impossible for me to ever trust that again. Hopefully he can get back to that form, because I've said for the longest time, and I'm sure people are sick of me saying it, the season comes down to, and I mean the season in terms of like, are we just playing as good as 8 or 9 wins, or can we excel beyond that? The season of us excelling beyond that hinges in the defensive line, because the secondary is a problem. If the defensive line can make up for that, then we'll be okay. Christian Wilkins being out has now led us to have to rely on not only just Malcolm Koonce, but Malcolm Koonce and Tyrie Wilson. When Wilkins was here, it was just one of them. Now that he's gone, it's both of them. And you would love to see Malcolm be able to snap back into what he was pre-injury. But we're not here to talk about Malcolm. We're here to talk about Tyrie Wilson. And I've had my doubts about him, because people always say with high draft picks that don't pan out right away, give him time, give him time, give him time. And most of the time, they're still not good, and they just end up being Clelin Ferrell. No disrespect to Clelin Ferrell, but I would say even he would admit he never probably lived up to the hype of being the 4th or 5th pick in the draft. Tyrie Wilson similarly drafted 7th overall. Now, that wasn't exactly a reach. He was expected to go around there. And word on the street is, that regime, Ziegler and McDaniels, had Tyrie Wilson ahead of Will Anderson. But, that's the same regime, Josh McDaniels, that wanted Bryce Young over C.J. Stroud. I'm pretty sure Dave Ziegler wanted Stroud over Bryce Young. It is what it is. We have a new regime now that knows what they're doing. And Pete Carroll saying day by day, Tyrie's doing exactly what we're asking of him. He's getting better, and we're asking a lot is one thing. But when you watch these preseason games and then you read what's happening in training camp, this seems like a significant step forward to a path where Tyrie Wilson maybe lives up to the potential that he was, fairly or unfairly got placed upon by being the 7th overall pick. So we're going to talk about the training camp. We're going to talk about notes from Vinny Bonsignor here, talking about Tyrie Wilson. But before we do that, I need to tell you quickly about the sponsor for this video, OddsJam. Look at these results. People are making thousands every month betting on sports completely risk-free. The secret, they're using OddsJam. OddsJam isn't just another betting app. It's turning the entire system in your favor. Here's how. OddsJam uses a strategy called arbitrage, finding odds discrepancies across the sports books. You bet both sides, and no matter the outcome, you will profit. Here's an example. If you bet $500 on Boise State to win on FanDuel and $335 on their opponent San Francisco on DraftKings, you're guaranteed to make $50 win or lose. It's that simple. With the OddsJam mobile app, you'll get real-time alerts on these opportunities every day. People are making thousands of dollars every month, and to get you started, use promo code ALLaBorde for 35% off and a 7-day free trial. I guarantee you'll profit during that trial, and if you don't, cancel with one click. No questions asked. Don't leave money on the table. Go to oddsjam.com, use promo code ALLaBorde, and start making money the smart way. Okay, so let's get into some training camp notes here that will, smoothly transition us to the Tyrie Wilson of it all. I do want to mention, shout out to my patrons and my YouTube members. If you join the YouTube member program for this channel, you have a chance to win $100 before the new league year. Also, hit that subscribe button. We're like 60 away from 14,000. I can't even believe it. Okay. Training Camp Notebook 820, that was yesterday. Tyrie Wilson, Max Crosby, tear up the trenches. And by the way, again, when our offense plays well, everybody goes, uh-oh, the defense stinks. And we are all like in lockstep that this offense is going to be really good. So when the defense plays well, I do think that says a lot about the maturation and the coaching that these coaches are giving to these players who at the time that we're sitting here in our lives, August 21st, if you're watching it the day it was uploaded, we may not have the same confidence that the coaches do. So let's talk about it. Training Camp Notebook 820, Tyrie Wilson, Max Crosby tear up the trenches. And this is Levi Edwards, I believe. Yes. All right, so on the offensive side, Geno's quest to get the ball to Dante Thornton Jr. is still a work in progress. Smith took three deep shots to the rookie wide receiver in team period. One caught for a touchdown, one overthrown with blanket coverage, and other dropped by Thornton. UCG, this is what Pete Carroll said, is looking for him, and he's trying to give him the chances to fit in, Pete Carroll said. We've done a lot of it in practice. The targets we've had in the games was leaning toward throwing the ball down the field by design. Geno is trying to get him to come alive. By the way, I love that they are consistently enforcing Geno throw it deep to Dante because they know if/when they get on the same page, it's going to be electric. And the more reps they do now, the more reps they have in their brain for when the season starts. Because on that deep throw in the 49er game that Pete Carroll overthrew, once you watch the film, you realize that Dante Thornton was kind of turning back to look for the ball way too early, and that's naturally slowing him down. If you just try to run in a straight line with your head turned that way, you're not going to be as fast if you just run straight. So he's got to trust in that ability that he can run down the field, turn late, see the ball, and locate it. But again, he is a rookie. These are easy things to be able to fix, and I'm so excited at the idea that they're trying to get that chemistry going because he's already got that chemistry with Trey Tucker, Jacoby Myers, and Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, because they're veterans. Dante's a young kid. He will get into it, and he will grow into it. It seems Alex Bachman and Colin Johnson are high in competition for one of the final spots in the receiving room. If I had to guess, I'd probably give it to Alex, although Colin is a bigger body, I believe. Both continue to maximize their opportunities, which has made for a deeper receiving core than I initially expected coming into training camp. Both have caught 4 passes each in the first 2 preseason games, with Bachman racking up nearly 13 yards of reception. There's certain opportunities that you get, certain opportunities you're not going to get. Bachman said, at the end of the day, I just control what I can control. I've always have that belief that I can perform well. Alex Kappa has been back at practice this week after sustaining a rib injury and was switching on and off with JPJ for first-team reps. Tight end Michael Mayer had an impressive day run blocking, opening things for Ashton Jenkins and Zamir White. I'm telling you, I truly believe that Michael Mayer would start for like half the teams in the league. I think he'd be the starting tight end for every single team in the AFC West. I mean, comment below if you think I'm crazy, but I really believe that. I think Michael Mayer is going to have a big year. A lot of red zone touchdowns. Max, am I sharing my screen? I'm always getting nervous. Okay. Max Crosby would have been 2 sacks in the team period, of course. The first came sniffing out a play-action pass by Aiden O'Connell, and the second on Geno Smith. Crosby also had his way during the one-on-one drills all over defensive or offensive linemen he faced. And by the way, this is huge for our first and second team offensive lines to be able to go against somebody of the caliber of Max Crosby every single week. Only a select few teams have the ability to do that, like the Browns with Myles Garrett, the Steelers with TJ Watt, the 49ers when Nick Bosa is healthy, and Trey Hendrickson when he's on the field against the Bengals. There's not many teams that get reps against the best in the game at their position, right? The Chiefs' defense obviously benefits from going against Patrick Mahomes every week. Same thing for our offensive line. They're continuing to have to go against Max Crosby, and that's only going to make them better. When we play teams like, the Patriots, who have a good defense, but nobody out there that's a superstar pass rusher. Okay. During the red zone drills, Patrick Graham and his defense threw a lot of blitzes at the quarterback. This resulted in 2 would have been sacks for Tyrie Wilson. The edge rusher has sparingly lined up at defensive tackle throughout camp in the preseason, but on Wednesday he saw most of his reps inside in any practice I've seen to date. Oh, I love this so much. I feel like being able to work with multiple guys, make the rush right, and also be able to get on that defender quick, Wilson said, of what he enjoys about playing defensive tackle. It's the quickest path to the quarterback being inside. You go through the guard, the quarterback's really going to be standing right there. Jamal Adams also had a sack during red zone drills. I love that. Newly signed Terrell Edmonds mixed in for the first team. Okay. All right. At the end of the day, my arms are long as hell, so the power comes first. A quote by Tyrie Wilson. So we've got another Tyree-specific thing to read here. Before we do that, let's just talk a little bit about it, right? Lining him up at defensive end is perfect because he's long enough. He's way taller than most of these guards and centers, which are typically shorter guys, right? Compared to these big-time defensive ends. So he's quicker than them. He's strong as hell. So he can probably push a couple of these guys around, especially the weaker ones. He's faster, so they're going to be able to do a lot of stunts and switches and pass ops with him and Max and Malcolm and Adam Butler. And like I said before, he's taller than all of them, so he might be able to jump up and bat some of these down. I'm going to make a prediction. Tyrie Wilson is going to pick somebody off this year. And the idea that he's finally blossoming into what he could be is not only a testament to him, but it's a testament to this coaching staff. Because what has Pete Carroll been saying since day one? He is not about fitting square pegs into round holes. He wants to figure out via the tape and practice and talking to each player what their strengths are. Hey, Dante, you know what you can do? Take the top off the defense. So we're going to pound the hell out of repetitions with you and Gino taking the top off the defense. Hey, Tyree, are you more comfortable inside or outside? Tyree says probably inside. Can you bulk up a little and get a little bit faster and stronger? Sure. Okay, you do that, and we're going to put you on the inside. Maybe the past regimes, and of course Patrick Graham is still here, but Patrick Graham is also learning from Pete Carroll, just like we all are. The past regimes might not have known how to best utilize Tyrie Wilson's strengths and put him inside. Now that he's inside, the switch might have flipped for the kid. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Also, a lot of the best ideas have been born out of need or necessity. Wilkins is gone, right? We need a new D tackle. Is it Lecky Fotu? Is it Tonka Hemingway? Is it JJ Pegues? Maybe, but right now it's like, hey, we have a spot open. Give Tyree a chance there. And he is proving that is where he can make the biggest impact on the team. If he can give us 6.5 to 7 sacks and be a disruptor against the run, which he's always been good against the run, that's the key. He's always been good against the run. It's getting back out there to the quarterback that's his main issue. And I think Vinny Bonsignor is going to talk about that here. But I'm very excited about all of this. Again, leave comments here as we're talking about this. All right. We got the Herdline News up. Let me pause this. Okay. Raiders, Tyrie Wilson starting to turn corner after 2 disappointing seasons. Okay. Athletes often play much faster once they get the game to slow down for them. That's huge. The Raiders are seeing that on a daily basis with defensive end Tyrie Wilson in training camp. The 7th overall pick in 2023, who has disappointed in his first 2 seasons in the NFL, is showing signs he may be turning the corner. The former Texas Tech standout continued his strong showing in camp in the preseason with a handful of splash plays in Wednesday's practice, including a pair of sacks. He's been doing a solid job, Pete Carroll said. It's been more than just the sacks. QB pressures and run stops for Wilson. He's been decisive in getting off the line of scrimmage, whether he's been lined up on the inside or the outside. That was a huge issue for him the first 2 seasons. He took too long to get out of his stance and would miss his chance to impact the play. Wilson, despite some fleeting bursts of production, always appeared to be overthinking things. That no longer seems to be a problem. I mean, you'll watch the tape just like I do, Wilson said, who had 8 sacks and 56 tackles in 33 games. I feel like I'm playing faster. Way more fluid than I had been before, and it's going to continue to get better. His teammates are noticing a difference as well. We see it day in and day out in practice, linebacker Orlando Roberts said. Wilson is just playing with game speed, not overthinking things. Wilson said one reason for his improvement burst is more comfortable with his role. He understands his responsibilities and reads whether he's lined up on the edge or inside the guard. Don't think. Just go and react to whatever shows up in front of you. It's more just working on the craft now, getting the right technique. Yeah, I mean, I'm all in on this. Now, you might think this is a little silly, but I coach high school basketball from time to time, and I run a camp every summer. And this is one of my main talking points, and it's something that if you played a sport at any level for multiple years, high school, college, pro, whatever, like I played basketball in high school. And I started as a sophomore, junior, and senior. And when I was a sophomore, and the footage is out there on YouTube, I was okay. But everything was like, I got the ball, I did this, I was looking over here, I took a shot, I turned the ball. It was like crazy and chaotic. And I remember the first couple of practices and scrimmages my junior year, it felt a little bit easier, right? It wasn't exactly there. But by the time I got to my senior year, everything slowed down. I was able to gather my thoughts. I had so many reps in the back of my mind that if a double team was thrown at me, I'd hit the guy over here. I can get the guy in the air and go by him. And that's what I'm teaching my kids all the time is you have to just continue to play at a game speed pace and build reps upon reps upon reps. And suddenly, everything is easier. It doesn't come overnight, but you're going to realize one day, oh, wow, this is much more simple than it was my first few seasons. Even making videos on this YouTube channel, right? If anyone's watching this and it's like, I want to make videos, and this advice is so annoying, but you just have to do it. Like, this video has 580-something videos posted. I didn't intend to make that many videos. I intended to make one video and see where it went, and I continue to make more and more videos. And the more I make, the easier it is to talk to you without saying or like. It still happens every now and again. And the easier it is for me to edit. I'm sure it took me 3 hours to make this video. Now it takes me 25 minutes. And that's what's happening with Tyrie Wilson. Every rep he's taking, every time he's talking to Pete Carroll, every time he's continuing to push himself and play at game speed, it's only going to get easier. So is he going to become a star? I don't know. But it's pretty safe to say that Tyrie Wilson's game has slowed down enough for him to make a big impact on this team. So, like I said before, make sure we're hitting that subscribe button. We're 60 away from 14,000. Shout out to my patrons. Hit that like button, comment away, and YouTube memberships. Everything is linked in the description below, and my Discord is linked in the description below. Please be sure to subscribe. It's free after no charge to you. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.